This is Pteraptor 101 here. Today I'm going to do a video of Big One from Jurassic Park versus Blue the Velociraptor from Jurassic World into Jurassic World Dominion. So, let's get into this fight. So, now let's get into these, strength and weaknesses. So, when it comes down to strength, Blue was able to grapple around with the Indoraptor, a creature that weighs, I believe, around a ton. She was able to overpower him, push, and knock him over. When they were falling, she was able to kind of swing him around, causing him to get impaled on the Triceratops horns. She was able to easily tackle soldiers, pulling them, who knows, like 10-20 feet without much of a struggle. I believe, well, when it comes down to brute strength, her strength feats, I would say that will be it. Now, for the big one, her strength feats are a little bit more sporadic. The big one was able to, bend, thin steel bars when trying to get to Ellie Sattler. Was also able to, bend up a little fence. Though, that also really doesn't go anywhere near Blue's feats. Was able to, I guess, bend a, thin little cabinet by running into it. Which, not much of a feat compared to, Blue ragdolling people. And, I mean, well, she did tackle Muldoon and rip him apart, but compared to, what Blue was doing in Jurassic World, in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, the big one does not get strength in this case. And don't be like, oh no, I believe the raptor that was in the opening scene died. I believe there was an article or something that said that raptor ended up actually dying. At the end of that scene, actually died. They actually shot it, I believe. But, so that would pretty much be it. Blue would get strength. Now, when it goes into weaponry, they're both velociraptors, so they both have the same weapons. Now, when it goes into speed and agility, Blue was able to dodge soldiers with, guns they were shooting. She was able to dodge around them. She was able to dodge bites from the Indominus Rex. Outmaneuver the Indoraptor as well as outmaneuver the Scorpius Rex. So compared to the big one, when it comes down to Blue's agility, she's already higher. Now, when it comes down to speed, I believe her speed was confirmed to be around, I would say, 40 to 50 miles per hour. Because, she was able to chase after, follow Owen on his motorcycle, keep up with him, even run ahead of him. So that would put her around 40 to 50 miles per hour pretty easily. Now, for the big one, I don't know if her speed was confirmed or not. If it was this Jurassic Park could travel at this speed. But I don't really see too many speed feats of them running at really fast speeds compared to Blue. I mean, one raptor did chase after Timmy, though it couldn't catch up to him. To be fair, Timmy did have a good head start, but still, the raptor was shown to be almost right behind him. So, I believe, for example, the Spinosaurus in Jurassic Park 3 was able to catch up to the humans, even though they had a massive head start. And it was confirmed to run around, let's say, 30 miles per hour. An average human could probably run around 10 to 15. So, twice their speed, as well as having stride difference. He'll be able to cover more ground each step while, going faster. So, yeah, he probably would catch up. So, when it comes down to that, now comparing this to, the big one chasing after Timmy, the raptor was really close. Looking at how when he does get into the freezer, the raptor's right behind him and it slips and falls over. So Yeah, the raptor was close, but still wasn't really that close to him. Like, to be fair, the raptor really should like have caught up to him. So I could say the raptor could be around, I don't know, let's say 10 to 15 miles per hour. Maybe looking at that, see around 20 in like an open area running at full speed, around 20, maybe 30 miles per hour. So, Blue gets speed and agility. So, when it comes down to durability and resistance, so when it comes down to durability, Blue was able to take multiple bites from the Indominus Rex, as well as the Indoraptor that was shown to have a strong enough bite force to bite off a man's arm, and Blue took multiple bites. Some bites, even a bite to the neck. Took bites from Scorpius. Took, Scorpius Rex slamming his head or her body up against metal and throwing her around. Suffered little to no damage. Like one scene where Blue was thrown up against the side of a wall in the visitor center, and she hits her body and it dents the wall, but you see Blue is perfectly fine after the Scorpius Rex did this. The big one that was running at the in the kitchen slammed its head. Well, it just running and slamming its head was able to, knock it or at least daze the raptor for a few moments, which you see Blue really doesn't. Looking at how the Indominus Rex threw her off multiple times, and each time she got up in less than a second, showing that most blunt force damage doesn't harm her, as well as her skin being tough enough to survive bites from Indominus Rex, as well as bites from Indoraptor. Indoraptor did do minor damage to her, and a bullet was able to take her down, like a bullet directly to the chest. But she did survive this for a good period of time, and this was a Blue that's been surviving on Isla Nublar for a long time and is a lot skinnier. Probably, I would say, weaker than she was in Jurassic World, but probably not as built as she was in Jurassic World. So, yeah. So far, Blue's dominating, and when it comes down to this, like, durability, the big one may have survived, like, one good bite, like, because if you watch the scene where Rexy is trying to grab the Jurassic Park raptor, she, like, grabs it by its tail and, like, tries to pull it off of her, and then gets, like, one good bite on the raptor before managing to, like, get it into its jaws before then clamping down again. So it did survive one bite, but at the same time, this wasn't, like, Rexy chomping down with her full force on the big one, which if you see what happened, the big one got chopped down, instantly killing the Velociraptor and causing, Rexy to easily toss the big one to the side. To be fair, the Indominus may not have bite down on Blue with its full pressure, but the Indoraptor must have, and, he wasn't able to break her hide with his bites. At least not easily. If he was, then she would have been a lot bloody. A lot more bloody. So, yeah, Jurassic World, its raptor is winning pretty easily. So when it comes down to resistance, like, surviving much damage, she was able to survive, like, the pain of getting sliced into by the Indoraptor. And, for resistance, for the big one didn't really have much feats of resistance. Now, maybe if I were to go to, like, the raptor getting tased and stuff, then yeah, but other than that, and what that raptor wasn't even the big one, so, yeah. So let's move on. Blue will get resistance and durability. So, now let's move on to intelligence and experience. So we're moving on to intelligence and experience. because Blue was able to understand from Owen, because in Jurassic World, Owen told Blue when she was trying to like come with him, she was trying to, because he was her only surviving pack mate. If you really think about, like, he was the alpha. She was trying to come with him. He shook his head, and she automatically knew what that meant. She knew what that meant. No. She was able to understand that Rexy had a common foe, with the Indominus Rex, because we see like her jumping from the Indominus Rex when Rexy's throwing the Indominus Rex into the building for the first time. Blue jumps onto Rexy to avoid getting crushed against the building, which is a good detail, and then jumps back onto the Indominus Rex. Blue was able to, outsmart the Indoraptor when falling. She was able to spin him around so he wouldn't get impaled on the tricorns. She was also able in Camp Cretaceous Hidden Adventure to, trick Bumpy. Like throwing pebbles and tricking Bumpy to, walk into an area so she could ambush Bumpy. Which, also for durability, she survived Bumpy's tail swing directly to her body and somehow didn't get crippled instantly. So, pretty powerful feat right there, too, for durability. But, back to intelligence. She's able to throw pebbles, outsmarting Bumpy. And when you see the big one, when Muldoon is trying to track down the raptors, and then the big one's able to circle around him and distracting him, using the other raptor as a distraction so the big one can make that finishing blow on Muldoon, ripping him apart. Showing, intelligence once again with these raptors. So I would say Blue is shown more when tactical intelligence. They've both shown intelligence and stuff in that as well. So yeah, I would give them both extreme levels of intelligence, almost human level. Blue, I would say more so. The big one is a lot more animalistic, while Blue is a lot more human. So I would say Blue's intelligence is higher than the big ones. So when it comes down to experience, Blue was raised in captivity for most of her life, up into the events of Jurassic World, where she was released to fight, find the Indominus Rex. And when she was in captivity, she was stated, I believe, to have fought Echo for, beta, or not for, for the title of being beta of the group. She was able to, she was experienced enough to track down the Indominus. She had experience fighting the Indominus, fighting armed soldiers. She also survived being on Isla Nublar for 4 years after the events of Jurassic World. Then she ended up having to survive on the mainland for a good few years as well by herself. She fought the Indoraptors. She had to survive. She had to protect Beta, etc. Had to learn how to hunt and survive, stuff like that. The big one was also raised in captivity, was stated to have killed multiple of her pack mates. So that way, killing multiple of her pack mates and only leaving her as the alpha, dominating over the other two raptors. We see her hunting and killing Muldoon, chasing around the humans a lot. That's relatively it. She did fight Rexy, so yeah, I feel like she is a very experienced raptor when it comes down to fighting other velociraptors. But when it comes down to fighting large and armored creatures, I think Blue would take this. I feel like with this, Blue would be able to, like, I feel like their experience levels, like, they're more experienced in certain things. Against Raptors, the big one would take this, but against actual other dinosaurs and a variety of experience, I would say Blue. So I do think that she did fight Echo, and she did do a lot more than the big one. Blue would get experience. So now, let's go into who wins. What did Big One get out of all of this? Absolutely nothing. Blue dominated. Now, I used to think long ago when Jurassic World was coming out that the Big One would dominate just because it killed two raptors, but then it's like, no, this would not happen at all. The Big One would dominate. I'm sorry, Blue would dominate the Big One. She just has way better feats, just, done way more. Now, if we saw, like, the Big One, I don't know, kill Dilophosaurus or something, which is a fight that seemingly has been teased throughout almost every movie in Jurassic World, which we need that fight to happen. Dilophosaurus versus Velociraptor in the next Jurassic movie. But, yeah. Maybe something like that if she dominated Dilophosaurus pretty easily. Something like that. Something then I could maybe argue a little bit, but still, even with killing the other raptors, she still isn't as high as Blue is. Blue could probably have killed those 7 other raptors. Let's be honest, if they were that much of wimps. But Blue wins. She nigs the Big One. Tyraptor 101 here signing out, and I guess goodbye. See you later.